What up, bro? You watching those guys? I'm DJ. To my right, we got Juicebox Abel, man. How you doing tonight?
That's me. My voice is hoarse, and I'm a little tired, but I'm pretty good.
If you guys don't know, it's the last day of final round in Atlanta. It was an amazing tournament, a lot of hype matches, especially in KOF, man. I heard you're doing some pretty hype commentary for what seems like your new favorite game.
Yeah, King of Fighters is my favorite game.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Honestly, yeah.
So who you playing in that game?
Right now I'm playing King and Andy Bogard and Takuma. I have a lot more learning to do. I want to learn the rest of the characters that I don't know. I learned Reynald taught me Mr. Karate last night, but I have a lot more to learn, basically, but I want to go to SoCal, have a couple training weekends with them, and just get a lot better in that game because I enjoy it so much.
So what's your community like? Do you have a lot of players at home that like to play the game, or is it kind of just you basically giving your best stab at the game?
It's just me. There's a small community. They run a stream called Neo Mexico.
Okay, that's cool. That's
Mexico, right? That's a cool idea. And the icon's a little sombrero.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But they don't really get better week to week. They're not really exploring the game. They just like the game and they're having fun, but they're not really improving and such. And so I'm just figuring out stuff on my own in training mode and watching like tutorial videos and such. And the comments, Bala and Romance and Reynald commented like, for a guy who just played by yourself, you seem to know what you're doing actually, and you should probably make top 8 this tournament. And I was mad at him when I didn't. But I know that I'm close. So if I give it more effort and more time, I think that I'll be really, really, really good at KOF.
So speaking of this tournament, how well did you do, and do you think that you met your expectations?
Well, I lost the match before losers finals in my pool, and since there were 16 people to come out of pools, I think that puts me top 32 or 64 or something.
Not too bad.
Yeah, I think there was about 180 entrants, so that's not bad for like my second KOF tournament. The first one was Winter Brawl. I went 2-2, but there was only like 60 people. But
it's pretty good though for someone who's still starting out.
Yeah, like I got a lot of experience against the good players. The Mexicans from SoCal. Like they taught me a lot about the game, and I mean I'm not any Mexican. That's what they called me. So I learned a lot. I learned some new characters. I learned a lot of counters today. I learned a lot about what I'm doing wrong, what I have to work on, and I'm really excited to go back in training mode and fix all that.
All right, so let's move backwards a little bit and talk about Street Fighter. Are you still playing the game competitively, or I know you've been playing KOF a lot, so it's probably taking away from your time with the game.
Right. The more I play KOF, the more I realize, what I don't like about high-level Street Fighter 4 play. I like Street Fighter 4. I like the story. I like the characters. I like the music. I like the game. And I picked that game back in 2009 to become super serious at fighting games. And I did, moderately well. Notice I'm putting it in the past tense. That's completely subconscious. But in high-level play, I feel as though there's too many situations in Street Fighter 4 that I don't have complete control over. If my footsies are good, it'll only do me so well against certain characters. Like Fuerte, sort of Viper, sort of Seth can sort of kind of get around footsies. I say sort of kind of because you can sort of kind of actually play footsies with them. But it really comes down to play style and throw mix-ups and such, and you can be thrown or hit at the same time, so you have to deal with everything all at the same time. Unlike in Street Fighter 2 and unlike in KOF, where you have that little bit of throw invincibility to shift the mix-ups so you know what could happen, but still interesting mix-ups happen. So
you sound like you're a student of fighting games. You really like to break things down technically and play based off that. So with this new game, Street Fighter Cross Tekken, do you feel like that's going to change at all, or are you going to have the same dislikes with the engine?
Well, it's a new game, so it's a new engine. I have to look at it that way, and I have to look into if the throw system is the same, how counter hits work, the chains and the links and the gems. They're truly outrageous, I hear.
Have you spent any time with the game yet, or are you still just waiting for the release?
No, I haven't played it at all. I'm just gonna buy it on release day like everyone else and try and figure crap out. But back to what you were saying about Street Fighter 4, though, like I like the game, and I'm gonna continue trying to play it competitively. But Justin Wong and Wolf Crone and the people who continuously place well, they know something that I don't, or I just have the wrong mindset for the game. I'm not the sort of player that just says, I'm just gonna pick one. I can't do that. If I'm not playing from a psychological approach or capitalizing on a weakness or saying, well, this is something that I should be doing versus something that I shouldn't be doing, and then coming to a decision. If I'm not applying one or more of those processes, then I don't care. You know, if I won a coin flip tournament, I wouldn't feel like I accomplished anything. And you know what? It's a slightly scrubby attitude. I have to admit it. It's, if a win is a win, you should take it. And I'm like, well, yeah, but I want to know why I won, and I want to know why I lost. And in KOF, you know.
Oh, really? Really?
And in Street Fighter 4, sometimes you don't, or sometimes you had no control. But in KOF, if you lose, it's because you suck, or you were worse than the guy who played you. And if you win, it's because they suck, or because you're better than the guy who played you, or maybe he dropped a combo. But you know what? That's his ass, not mine. And like there's always something you can improve on, and KOF always shows you what it is if you understand the system, and you can always build up from there. In Street Fighter 4, once you know the combos, once you know the OSs, once you know the matchups, there's still stuff you have no control over, and you just have to guess.
I hear you on that one. Well, let's move back to KOF, but in a grander scheme. As you know, MLG's picked up KOF now, so it's going to be part of the whole debate over FGC versus the whole esports thing. How do you feel about that? Are you excited for KOF to be part of MLG? Are you disappointed? Or how do you feel?
Well, it's a good opportunity for American KOF players because KOF has not had much tournament representation. The road to EVO is a really, really good start. We're going to have, sequential KOF 13, KOF 13, KOF 13, who I totally plugged on the stream, by the way. This was the second, I forget where we are on the road, but this is one of many KOF 13 tournaments, which are all going to be hype and very exciting. So as far as MLG is concerned, it's a large prize pool. Yes. It's in 3 weeks from today. There's considerations there. I mean, as far as the whole esports thing goes, what we should be thinking about is growing the game, in my opinion. If we can grow the game, grow the community, and by that same token, yes, grow the merchandising and the money presence in the community, we will have what we need to continue this growth that we're experiencing. I think that if we don't capitalize on the esports opportunity that's presented to us, then what's going to happen is, we'll stay grassroots, we'll stay true, or whatever you want to call it. But what it comes down to is, if players could play full-time, they would be better players. If players could quit their jobs and do this for a living, maybe they would do a better job promoting tournaments, commentating tournaments, things like that. There are complete professions based around StarCraft, shooting games, all sorts of strategy, League of Legends, Day 9, like all those dudes. So if we can create a community that not only is fun and exciting, but also sustainable, that's the word of the year, by the way, sustainability. If we can create a community that is self-sustainable, so that I can just do KOF and Street Fighter stuff and be able to do that 40 hours a week or more, that will help us create more quality content. It'll make more fans, it'll make tournaments more exciting, and it'll make the players better. It'll make everything better.
I definitely hear you on that. That's an interesting standpoint that not a lot of people have been saying. But I also have another question. You said that you're going to be are you going to go to the MLG event for KOF?
I want to. It's the same weekend as NCR. I mean, I got to talk with DMG. What it comes down to is they might want me to go to one tournament. Not really in a position to say no, but I do love KOF, and MLG will be an important KOF tournament because, I mean, outside of these Road to EVO 2012 tournaments, what King of Fighters 13 tournaments have there been? Besides local stuff, MLG is a good chance for lots of esports fans outside of the fighting game community to understand what KOF is about, specifically KOF. They also got Soul Calibur 5, which is great, and they got Mortal Kombat as well. Hopefully we can bring some of the hype that we experience into their community and build a way bigger legion of fans than we currently have.
So I got to ask you another question then. Since the MLG event is going to be the same weekend as a grassroots NCR, do you think that's going to help the community in the long run? Because there's only 52 weekends in a year. There's only a certain amount of days in a year that these events can be ran. So do you think that in the grand scheme, MLG having events especially for a player like you who you play Street Fighter but you love KOF, and you have to make a decision, and albeit that's a hard decision to decide which event do you want to go to. So you think that's a good thing?
It's not a good thing. But we have to consider what MLG's thinking here, because that they know that NCR is on that weekend. So maybe there's some political stuff we don't know about going on. It's possible they might be trying to force Capcom into the esports community by just picking up all the other games, by just saying, hey, look, we don't need Street Fighter Cross Tekken. We'll just play every other game. Not that you want to sell a couple million copies of this or anything, And that's nothing negative against Capcom. I'm sure I'm sure that they have something planned for us, and I know that they care about our community. We know they keep showing up to events, they keep supporting us, so we know that there's something in the works, or that they have reasons for doing what they're doing. I can't speak to that, and I can't even infer like what's going on. But I'm not going to go there. What it comes down to is MLG is running events for fighting games that are good, and if we're in the fighting game community and we want to support each other, we need to support MLG's effort to help us, because that's what they're doing. They're trying to help us, and they're trying to create new fans. If it collides with another tournament, that's unfortunate, but there's no reason we can't support both. It's only people like me who have to make any decisions. You can open up 2 tabs and watch both streams. Just saying.
I hear you. All right, so one last question on the whole esports topic is, MLG, they're kind of notorious for dropping games once the scene kind of dwindles. And, KOF is still in its infancy as far as community is concerned. It's still growing as a game. Do you think that if MLG, picks up KOF and they feel like the scene isn't good enough or worthy enough and they drop it, do you think that's going to be a good thing as well, or is that going to hurt? Like, what is your opinion on that?
Well, that's a fighting game problem. I mean, it's really a competitive game problem. I mean, I don't know anybody who's still playing Gears of War 2, or even if they are, I mean, who organizes tournaments for Gears of War 2, that's not really fair. I mean, there's going to be a Vampire Savior tournament, you have GT8. So
you feel like it's a necessary risk to take? I mean, if the people like it, they'll come.
Games age, games die, and games are born again. That's why there's 13 King of Fighters. But I think, see, what MLG does is they try to take a game that might be popular or on the cusp of popularity, and they'll say, let's see what we can do with it. And KOF is not only new and exciting, it's also, in my opinion, the best 2D fighter out right now. And, I want to do my part. If I could go to MLG, I'd love to commentate and just expound on the virtues of this game over other fighting games and other competitive games in general. And I would love to do that. And hopefully MLG sees what I see in that game, sees the competitive spirit, and sees how skill-based it is over other fighting games and such. But, they're a business. They make decisions, which I'm not a part of, and it is going to be up to the community, us, to support their events and to support these games, to show them that it is worth their time, that it is a worthy business venture. And I think we should do it. And I don't see a good reason why we shouldn't do it.
Well, that's a good note to end it on. You're very well spoken. I appreciate you taking time out of your night to talk to us, man. Is there anywhere that people can follow you online if they want to get some more information on your whereabouts?
Yeah, my Twitter is @Juicebox Abel, no space. I have a stream where I stream King of Fighters 13 mostly, a little Street Fighter 4, probably a lot of Street Fighter Cross Tekken in the coming weeks, and that's just twitch.tv/JuiceboxAbel. And I also have a Facebook fan page. Just search for Juicebox Abel, and I'm an athlete.
Sweet. That's pretty awesome. Shout out to cyber athletes. All right, man. Thanks again for your time, and hope you have a good, safe trip back home. Thanks, man. Thanks.